If you were a kid in the late 90s or early 2000s, chances are you remember a little show called Rocket Power. Rocket Power first aired in August of 1999 on Nickelodeon and had a 4-season run consisting of 71 episodes. The show follows siblings Reggie and Otto Rocket and their two friends Twister and Sam living in the town of Ocean Shores, California. These kids spend their free time playing various extreme sports such as skateboarding and surfing. You probably knew all of that already, but did you know that there were several video games made based on the show? My name is Tringe, and we're going to take a look at those games. Rocket Power Gettin Air was released in July of 2001 for the Game Boy Color. The game is pretty basic, even for a Game Boy game. You start outside of the shore shack and play as Reggie as you very slowly skateboard to various extreme sports. Selecting one of these spinning contraptions will take you to a level where you play as one of the 4 kids where you're forced to dodge traffic cones and soda cans. First we play as Twister, who is mountain biking down a treacherous path filled with giant rocks, pits, and this guy. Who is this? Why is there a stranger throwing milkshakes at children while hiding in the shadows? What button do I press to call the police? Maybe Twister is being stalked because he rides his bike like a 6-year-old girl. Next up we hit the slopes with Reggie, who was also easily tripped up with a pebble. One thing I found mildly annoying throughout this game are these pop-up messages that are displayed on the screen after completing a trick. Have you ever been playing Super Smash Bros. With your friends and then someone suddenly pauses the game with no warning? It feels a lot like that. The third game type involves auto racing Lars on rollerblades, and I use the term racing very lightly here. Lars just sort of floats side to side at the bottom of the screen. We never even see his whole body and he has no animation. I'm also convinced that it's next to impossible to jump over these soda cans. I literally tripped on every one. Whatever, let's go surfing with Sam. I'm actually impressed with the texture details in the sky in this one. I have one question though. What's this kid doing out here? We're at least a quarter mile from the shore and this kid's just bobbing in the water with a dead expression on his face. The lifeguard must be at lunch. Of all the game modes, surfing is definitely the most fun. You ride up the slopes of these waves which increases your speed, and Sam can even do a fun little trick. Each character gets 2 levels in this game, and for some reason, Sam's second level takes place in a storm. Are there no adults in this world? Where's Tito and Ray? Oh, there they are, hiding in the shadows. You've been tossing some milkshakes to kids there, Ray? You can actually play a flashback mission with both Tito and Ray, and the developers must have known that surfing was the most fun game mode because they're both surf levels. After clearing each level with a score of 40,000 or more, you beat the game! Seriously, that's it. I legitimately finished this entire game in less than 25 minutes. Once you're all done, you get greeted with this little picture of everyone's favorite character from the show! Lobster! Wait, what have you guys done to Lobster? Rocket Power Team Rocket Rescue was released in September of 2001 for the PlayStation. I'm excited to try a home console version after playing the handheld. Let's see. Well, that definitely looks like a PS1 game. I will admit though, it doesn't really look that bad. The way Ray's mouth moves on his face without making any other facial expression makes me a little uncomfortable though. In Team Rocket Rescue, Jesse and James are at it again, trying to capture Ash's Pikachu. Wait, wrong Team Rocket. Snowmart is on the brink of running rocket boards out of business.
Snowmart is Snow Smart.
And the only way the Rocket Kids can save it is by winning an extreme sports competition to get rocket boards some free publicity.
Will get more publicity than you could shake a snake at.
The first game mode has you snowboard down a mountain, hitting checkpoints to gain additional time. Reach the bottom before the time runs out, and you won't be eaten by the Yeti from Ski Free. The next game mode was a bit more challenging for me. You have to ride around on rollerblades and collect all 6 parts to your bike in under 2 minutes. I know I did this at least 20 times before I was able to complete it. There are also various competition levels where you have to score a certain number of points to qualify for the next round. There's a special bar that fills as you perform tricks and collect lightning bolts. Once it's full, you can hit triangle to awkwardly hang in the air and rack up a sick combo. It looks a little weird, but it's crucial to clearing these stages. The last game mode involves racing, guess who, Lars and his clowns. The races are stupid easy. After you've cleared all 4 stages, you beat the game and win an ad in a magazine so that rocket boards can advertise and not be shut down by Walmart.
That's why I'm giving Raymundo free ads in my mag.
Rocket Power Dream Scheme was released for the Game Boy Advance in November of 2001. The game starts off with Old Man Stumpleton working on a polka device, and oh, check it out, he's also kidnapping a 9-year-old. Also, Otto has no pupils. Stimpleton's gone postal! Somebody stop him! He's gone postal, huh? Jesus Christ, I thought this was a kid's game. So it turns out this game takes place within Otto's dream, where Simpleton has kidnapped everyone and is planning on turning Ocean Shores into a polka resort. Looks like it's up to the gang to stop him. The first thing that I noticed once I loaded into the first level is that the game's camera is definitely going to make me want to throw up. It's all over the damn place. We can switch between using a skateboard, rollerblades, and just walking, and there's also other items you can unlock later like a pogo stick and a jetboard. To get through each level, we have to collect these generic looking stars and reach a few checkpoints. The gameplay is actually pretty fun. There's a lot of platforming involved and plenty of these rails to grind on to reach certain areas. Most of the enemies are wearing these mind control helmets that I assume were planted on by Simpleton. One even kind of looks like a Peter Griffin Homer Simpson hybrid. We eventually make it to the end of the first level and rescue the Reginator. Looks like Reggie got into a bit of Raymundo's stash there. Now we've got another character to play as, so let's tackle level 2 with Reggie. We'll have to save Twister from his psychotic older brother in our first boss battle. Oh look, Twister looks like he has something in his system too. Looks like he hasn't slept in 2 days. Well, let's wake him up by using him to save Sam. I'd also like to point out that while on a skateboard, Twister looks like he's dancing to Thriller. This level has these annoying pogoing kids that we have to clear. Ah, we made it to the end. Please don't let Sam look cracked out too. Oh, for the love of God, next game! In September of 2002, Rocket Power Beach Bandits was released for the GameCube and PlayStation 2. I wasn't really sure what to expect, and I have to say, this game is actually very solid. It has everything from jet skis to mountain boards, all packed into a roughly 12-hour campaign. There's also some Tony Hawk-esque skateboarding in this game, which is actually pretty well done and very fun to play. The game looks colorful and bright, and the graphics look pretty good too. The voice acting is also performed by the same actors in the show, and there's even many secondary characters present. Surprisingly, no Simpleton though. The story goes as such. School is officially out for the summer, but oh no, some douchebag has stolen all the sand from the beaches and ocean shores, and it looks like it's up to the Rocket Gang to get it back. We meet this good guy, Eric Gollum, who says he's there to solve the problem, but he's very obviously the cause of it.
But rest assured that one of my top hydrodanologicals is...
What was that?
Hydrodanological tissue.
Oh, sorry, I thought I heard something ridiculous. Carry on. The kids see right through Eric's lies and decide to investigate.
Hydrodynological tissue. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I knew he was making it up too, Reggie. There's no such thing as a hydrogonological addition. The game starts you off as Sam for some reason, but you can change your character just about whenever you want. The world of Ocean Shores is pretty well put together with many areas to explore. One of the first areas we get to check out is very cleverly called the Lakes. And man, does it ever have some catchy music. All of the enemies are robots that you attack by shooting hockey pucks at, and there's various power-ups for all of your pucking needs. One of the areas inside of the lakes looks awfully familiar. Oh, that's what it looks like. Some of the devs at THQ in 2002 must have been big fans of The Legend of Zelda. Look, they even copied the little fairy firefly things. Keep in mind that in 2002, Ocarina of Time was only 4 years old. After the first area, we meet this little twerp who I immediately want to punch in the spleen. He tells us that his name is Eric Gollum Jr., and he begins to insult the gang and challenges Otto to a skating competition. Easy peasy. Next level. In the second area, we have to collect some parts and build our very own BattleBot.
Control console initialized.
Wait, Raymundo, is that you? We use Sam's highly developed athletic abilities to platform our way to grab all of the parts, solve a spinning maze, and build our BattleBot. The excitement of the BattleBot is unfortunately short-lived though. I would have liked to see a little more use for it. We head back to the pier and play a little bumper cars to win bus passes to the next area. Also, for some reason, the bus passes are for a school bus. The bus takes us to Mondo Mountain, where the gang climbs their way up through a perilous trail, and holy mother of God, what is that thing? This boss battle was actually super frustrating and took me several attempts to clear. We make our way to the Gollum Industries hideout and learn that Eric Gollum Sr. is actually a robot who tries to murder children. This can only mean one thing. Eric Gollum Jr. is the real psychopath here, and somehow has unlimited funding to create an army of robots and build a corporation. He tells the gang that he's going to drown everyone in Ocean Shores unless they can beat him in 4 challenges. No pressure. After blading, skating, skiing, and hovering our way through races against this little Antichrist, we defeat him and blow up his Legion of Doom-like lair. That's right, Officer Shirley. Take him in.
And if I'm not on 10 years detention,
Wait,
might see you next summer.
what's happening here?
Okay?
No! Don't you woogity 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 him! He just tried to kill thousands of people! Am I taking crazy pills here? A Game Boy Advance version of Beach Bandits was released in October of 2002. While the PS2 and GameCube versions are really good, this one is not. The story is obviously the same, just a little more rushed. The controls for this game feel pretty good, and that's about where the positive feedback stops. The levels are clunky and confusing without any natural flow of what to do or where to go next. The levels are very saturated with enemies without a lot of thought about placement. It feels like this version was just sort of rushed so that there could be a handheld release alongside the console version. I was only able to play as Otto and Twister, but apparently it's possible to unlock more characters later. The real kicker is that this game uses passwords instead of save files, which is a little ridiculous considering the majority of GBA games can be saved. I made it through what I assume was most of the lakes area, only to die and have the game not give me a password. This means I would have had to play through the entire thing again, and I certainly wasn't willing to do so. In August of 2003, the final Rocket Power game, Zero Gravity Zone, was released for the Game Boy Advance. I'm gonna be pretty blunt here. This game is awful. At the start of each level, you're shown a list of missions that need to be completed. For example, you have to hit a certain score and collect letters to spell out a word. Sound familiar? The game is very clearly a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater clone, and honestly that would be fine if the controls weren't so bad. Navigating a character through these levels is like pulling teeth. When I would try to get Otto to just barely turn in one direction, he would turn completely around. It happened all the time. Even once I started to get adjusted to the controls a little, the game is still frustratingly difficult. I wasn't even able to clear the first level, which I would like to point out is set in a haunted manor. Haunted levels are not level 1 material. The first level in a game is supposed to be bright and colorful to pull the player into the game and leave them wanting more. This level just made me want to rip my hair out. I found a password online that unlocked all of the levels so that I could see what the rest are like. I had some pretty low expectations and I was still disappointed. There were a few snowboarding levels which are identical to the skateboard levels, even in the mechanics of how the board is controlled. Why even put snowboarding in the game if it's just going to be exactly like skateboarding? This frozen mammoth ramp was pretty cool though. I couldn't find a ton of information about this, but apparently there was an Xbox game planned under the same name, but the game was cancelled. There's actually a video on YouTube showing off what was developed, but it looks like they didn't make it too far. The levels all have the same names as the GBA version with a few more characters to choose from. So there it is, every Rocket Power game to date, and I highly doubt we'll ever see a new game given that the show was cancelled 15 years ago. Have you ever played these games? If so, what did you think of them? Let me know in the comments section down below. Hit that like button if you're not a shooby, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. You can also follow me on my Twitter and Instagram at the handles below. Until next time, my name is Tringe, and I'll see you on the next adventure.